Well, do you have any doubts about the components of the engine? I think someone can unmute and you can just ask me any questions so far we have. Well, this is about a four-stroke engine. You are seeing what is that you are seeing there now is a four-stroke engine. Four processes. They each, in order to complete each process, there's a suction, compression, expansion, and exhaust processes. A crankshaft rotates by 90 degrees angle. And in order to complete all the four processes, 90 multiplied by 4 times, that is how much?
360 degrees.
360 degrees, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if all the four processes completed in 360 degrees, then it is called as two-stroke engine. That means suction and expansion or exhaust. Two activities will be completed. One, a movement of the piston from top to bottom. While it is moving down, it expels all the gases as well with intake. Okay, so that is the suction and exhaust happens in one go. And compression and expansion again goes with in 180 degrees. So now coming back to this, various components we use. What are the materials we use? So there are a couple of things when we are choosing the engine for a stationary purpose and for our agriculture purpose, like a power sprayer or a power tiller or the tractor or the harvester. So we have got so many agricultural implements wherein we'll be using the power derived from the engines. So the engine which is used for mobile purposes, that means there may be tractor or power tiller, so maybe handheld devices kind of thing, like a power sprayer. So there, the first and foremost requirement is the engine weight to the power produced. That's the ratio. Power to weight ratio must be as minimum as possible. The weight must be small, but power should be high. In the case of stationary engines, we will not be having that kind of issue. So in choosing, you have to choose what is the power requirement. That's the first thing. How much energy you would like to have. So based on that, you'll be choosing the type of engine in the stationary as well as in automobile, mobile engines. In the mobile engines, you'll be looking at two parameters. One is power requirement and also weight, because you have to carry, how long you can able to carry. So these are the issues will be addressed to. There are advantages and disadvantages for both the type of engines, two-stroke engine as well as four-stroke engines. Two-stroke engine will have for every rotation one power process. That means for a given size of the engine, like somebody was telling me the other day, like in terms of cc, 50 cc, for example, your mopeds, TVS 50, maybe Luna, I think a kinetic scooter, So all those things mostly are having two-stroke engines. Hero, Honda, maybe Pulsar, whatever you have, and Bullet motorbike, they're all four-stroke engines. The two-stroke engines will generate more power, more power, because for every rotation, they have one power stroke or power process. Whereas in the case of four-stroke engines, we have a crankshaft rotating twice for getting one power process. So that way, a two-stroke engine is better when compared to the weight to power ratio. Okay. And it also has some disadvantages. So as I told you, because along with the exhaust gases in the two-stroke engine, some fresh air fuel mixture also gets out of that engine cylinder. So causing the more pollution. And You and me normally looking at the diesel engines because of the tractor exhaust, you can see, the tractor or the bus, truck kind of thing. Look at the tailpipe, that's the exhaust pipe, and you get a thick whitish or slightly dark color smoke. Looking at that, you and me, everybody feels in the very first instance that these are the engines which are polluting. Whereas petrol engines, you don't find that kind of a thick clouds of smoke coming out. And most of these auto rickshaws, not the Toto today we have a battery power. So this Bajaj kind of thing, scooters, we have RE and others rear engine, So they adulterate this petrol with kerosene. And you might have seen continuously some smoke comes out of those tailpipes, meaning there is a lot of incomplete combustion, meaning there will be unburnt fuel particles also comes along with the carbon particles. And whenever the fuel burns inside the engine cylinder, what is the temperature you can think of inside the cylinder? Any idea? Well, it's very high temperature. That's what we were talking, like a kind of explosion which just happens inside the engine cylinder. So the temperature at the time of explosion, it runs into several hundred degrees centigrade. Anything between 1800 degrees plus for that moment at the time of spark. And inside, when it starts expanding, the temperature may be of the order of few hundred degrees centigrade. Maybe 700, 600 to 700. But petrol engines will have a less temperature, whereas diesel engines will be having higher temperature because the fuel has to get ignited by the temperature of this compressed air itself. That means the compression ratio is also very high in the case of diesel engines. That's the reason why normally we don't have diesel engines of two-stroke nature. Any diesel engine mostly will be having a four-stroke engine only. Okay. So two-stroke engine is, we say here the points we look at this. Lubrication is not as efficient as four-stroke engine because that will be splashed in that. And also we use the gas, like petrol. Normally we term it as a gas. Okay. So there will be some gas just comes out of. That's a fuel and air mixture comes out along with the exhaust gases. And hence it pollutes more. And also this engine, because for every rotation you get a power stroke, and hence it will be having a higher wear and tear. It will be having higher and wear and tear, and also difficult for us to give lubrication for all the moving components. And hence the wear and tear will be again high. And now four-stroke, engines. So these engines last longer because it will be having it on and off. For one rotation it's only cool, and only one rotation there will be combustion and then expansion. So that's the power stroke. For every one rotation, two rotations, you get only one power stroke, and hence it will be having an opportunity. Further, we have a dedicated one full length of travel, like from the top dead center to the bottom dead center, the piston travels for every process. Even the exhaust process, it just goes and pushes out entire thing. Instead of pressure difference just going on. Pressure difference, the moment a test valve opens, because of the pressure inside the cylinder is always higher and outside is lower, and hence this escapes. Whatever little left over inside the cylinder, that also made to get out of the cylinder, the upward moving piston. That means this is evacuating all the gases which are there inside out. Maybe a small traces may be present, but that's insignificant. And then the suction stroke starts like this, suction stroke. So during that point of time, maybe air fuel mixture in the case of SA engine or the petrol engine enters. In case of diesel engine, only air enters in. And this is one full movement from top dead center to the bottom dead center. So then what happens? Once the piston reaches the bottom, it just valves closes now. Now compression process starts. So that way, for every process to complete, the piston moves one dead center to the other dead center completely. That amounts for the crankshaft rotation by 90 degrees. And because of that, there's no possibility of any fuel getting along with the exhaust gases out of the cylinder. And hence, it burns entire fuel and hence efficiency is higher. That's the reason why your diesel engines gives a better mileage in the case of automobiles and more number of hours of performance in the case of stationary engines than its counterpart petrol engines. And pollution also equally less. What are the disadvantages? Because of valve mechanisms, you have more number of components. So more number of components mean there's a more chances of failures, and also you have to replace in case in the maintenance lot many components. So maintaining four-stroke engines is slightly expensive, and because it's intermittently happens, one rotation will be covering two processes, and during which there's no power generated, and in the other thing it will be generating it. So it is a oscillating kind of thing. Once it develops and goes that way. So that means for one rotation, there's no power generation. For yet another rotation, we'll be having it. That means it is the waveform you will get it. And hence, you need to have a larger flywheel in order to soothe the engine operation. In the case of single cylinder engine. In order to overcome this disadvantage, we are going for normally multi-cylinder engines, such that for every rotation, you can have some power generation. So instead of single cylinder, if you have a two cylinders, then for every rotation you'll be having one power stroke, power generation in the case of four-stroke engines. That way you can counter this disadvantage. And apart from that, what are the things you can think of? So the one is electrical power. Today, thanks to the development in our country over a period of time of 7 decades, now most of the villages are electrified. So most of the places, maybe electric line goes along the fields too. Wherever electricity is available, so there we are replacing these diesel engines with the electrical motors. You know how they operate. They're very compact. They consume less energy, and also they will not pollute locally. Locally. So wherever you are generating thermal power plants, maybe hydroelectric power plants, that's a different issue altogether. But discretely will not be having any pollution. So today, in the most of the places, we find electrical power applications. Maybe for your grass cutting, for fodder feed, you have to chop the grass and make it to pieces and give to the dairy kind of thing. Whatnot. Majority of the things now we have, but the major application of electric power we use in the farm field to lift the water for irrigation purpose. Okay. So what is the other renewable energy? So when you are using the electrical pump in your field for irrigation purpose, so we can replace electrical energy generated from the thermal power plant or the hydroelectric power plant. So locally, you can have your own power plant. Sunrise to sunset, you can generate some energy if you have a solar electric panels. And maybe you can have a wind energy tap. In certain areas, you can always will be having the minimum velocity which is needed in order to make that windmill to rotate. That's maybe 5 meters per second kind of thing. That's the velocity which is needed for the large windmills. A small windmills like a fan kind of thing can be used for a smaller applications. Okay. So wind and solar you can have together. And in the farmland, we get lot of agro waste. Maybe suppose you have got, cow, maybe buffalo. So their dung also can be used to get the a biofuel. Or what is that? Biogas. So in the digesters, you can get it fermented. So it takes some time, but after gestation period, it starts giving you, in the biogas plant, you get the biogas every day, and you can use this gas to run your diesel engines. You can use this gas to run the diesel engines. So that way you are replacing the conventional fuel which otherwise we use in the diesel engines, replaced by the gas. So that means already we have one gas engine, this uh, diesel engine that can be powered by biogas with small alterations, which we can always do it. So that can be used for pumping or lifting load, or moving the goods. In the case of banana plantation, you have a long line, and you have to make this to go to a particular place where you can have a storage arrangement or transportation arrangement. But those things carrying, one is cut and again it should come. So we'll be making some arrangement for transporting internally within the farm, to one particular place easily. No need of you'll be having a use labor to carry such kind of loads within the farmland. So that also possible with the diesel engine and little mechanization, we can have it. So basically in the farm field, we can advise three different types of renewable energy sources. One is, because where the farmers normally they'll be having cows and bullocks, so naturally they'll be getting the lot of cow dung, and also they can have a lot of waste tag, that's a waste, so those things also can be used in order to get the gas, biogas, such that we can use the existing engines to run on that biogas. There's one source, one alternative. So next alternative is solar energy, and third alternative is wind energy, and maybe fourth one is combination of these three. Okay, so these are the generally available resources we can use. So this is the biogas plant. You can see there are several designs, and out of which our own indigenous, Chinese have some model and we have some model. Probably you might have heard of KVIC, that is Khadi Village Industries Corporation, and then the apex bodies commission. Okay. So they designed some biogas plants. So we used the one which is pictured here, that was there in my home. So we used to have this, and this is the way how we'll be having this structure. So maybe we'll be having a wonderful opportunity for us to interact with you physically, maybe first week of next year. There's a January. Okay, so hardly about 10 to 12 days from now. So until then, we'll have this kind of engagement, but we can have it. So this is called as a floating drum type biogas plant. This is the one, and this is the underground. It's a concrete structure. Okay, so there's no floating drum. So all the gas which is formed gets collected in the drum because it's very light, and this drum now, as it is saying, is not having any gas inside. So once gas gets filled in, that means it has to generate, it just that gets lifted off, So like in this picture, it just moves on, meaning it shows what is the volume of gas present inside the drum, and you can just use that for your cooking purpose either, or running the engine, or even for lighting the lamp, like a Petromax lamp. Okay, so there are several ways and several designs available now for the biogas plants, which we can think of how we can. And these are the opportunities for you too. You can be entrepreneur, instead of like searching for a job, you can give jobs to the couple of people. A lot of opportunities, we'll discuss about it. And you says like, but tidal energy, geothermal energy, this is another option, but seldom we use in the farming purpose. So tidal energy maybe in the seashore, for some other purpose we can use, but I don't think it's useful for our agriculture purpose. Geothermal energy can also be used, but it is site specific. Maybe in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, in some areas you get geothermal energy. So there you can just use the heat energy directly for our agriculture purposes, but not everywhere. It's not available. But first one, solar energy, wind energy, and biomass energy can be obtained everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. So this is the another important topic we'll be talking about. So farm mechanization. So how many of you agree we need to, it's a time for us to go for mechanization? What in all the areas you can think of? So, some states are predominantly known for producing a particular staple food grains. Oh, okay, another 10 minutes. Okay.
40 minutes only.
Under 10 minutes. So we'll be having a lot of opportunity for us to go for automation and mechanization. So I request you all, once you come to the university, probably we'll be talking to you about all these areas. Farm mechanization is one part of the story. And unfortunately, you can see around our university itself, I think you just enjoyed the surrounding area, right? So they have a small land holding, very small. Can you think of having these kind of equipment, what is that you are seeing on the screen now, by these small farmers? Very difficult to have it, for them. And also these kind of machines, efficiency will be better if there's a the larger area, So this is possible in the plains and in some organized sector like Punjab, Punjab and Haryana. Those farmers use mostly all these modern gadgets. And in some areas of UP also, and West Bengal I have seen, because Bihar and West Bengal also, you have some districts particularly, they're the rice bowl, they grow a lot of paddy. And all the paddy in the entire state comes for the harvesting at once. So there'll be massive labor issues comes to the farmers at that point of time. So if you delay it, then maybe the crop, you lose it. So you have to complete the harvesting. Maybe once it starts turning yellow to golden, bright yellow, so then you have to harvest it, especially paddy. So within a week time maximum, you should be able to harvest it. With the manual power, maybe per acre you need to have around 5 to 6 manpower to cut it, put all the things together. So a person in a day can comfortably cut the paddy for almost like a quarter acre. So during my teenage, we used to indulge in that kind of farming. And I remember for 10 acres, we used to have hiring the 60, 70 people. They used to take almost like 3 or 4 days time in order to have that. That it was something, we used to give them the contract. For that reason, they used to work for long hours, not 8 hours, maybe sometimes 10 hours they used to work, barring their hot sun will be midday. So because there's a contract, so they put in extra efforts. Suppose it's only daily wages kind of thing, it's very difficult. Every now and then they would like to have break. There's the problem faced by every farmer. So at the in order to just for cutting the paddy per acre, now they are incurring expenses of anything about 3,000 to 5,000 depending on the area and season. And with machines that can be done in 1 hour time, all the including grains you can get. That's it. Totally it cuts as well as harvests your grains and you can just fill in your bags. All those things. And in 1 hour time, they complete maybe 2 to 3 acres kind of area. So in a day, you can harvest 10 acres minimum with these kind of machines. So that way, machines, that's a mechanization is very important. So all the things, total processing, cutting from the farm and getting the grains packed, into the bags. So that happens in only a couple of hours. So that way, we can get the economy achieved, and also will be avoiding the possible losses, like especially normally this paddy comes for cutting during the months of May. That's the time it's the most uncertain. Maybe there'll be hot sun in the afternoon and the evening you'll be having a downpour. And we have seen that kind of losses. Okay. So that's the risk involved. Until the grain comes to your godown or the home, there is always a danger of having some loss. Okay. So for that purpose, farm mechanization is now everywhere we are implementing it, maybe small scale or large scale. And we'll see, we'll discuss about it practically. So these are the scope. In India, we have a lot of things. So one is mechanization for irrigation, mechanized for your total cultivation, intercultivation or all those things you can have it. And also pesticide control, pesticide dispensing, you can just have it, pest control rather I can say. And also administering the nutrients to the every plant is also can be metered and measured. So all those is possible today. Whatever we used to think of earlier, very difficult. It's only meant for large farmlands. Now, thanks to the advancement in the technology, now everything is possible. And also it's affordable today. But only thing is maybe a small holding people, like 3-4 people should come together and implement those things. So that's the now again we have to talk about cooperative farming kind of thing. Okay. So all these things makes farmers to earn a better and also have a better living. Okay. And also get quality time. And these are the benefits of mechanization. So one is timeliness of operation, and also you'll be achieving the precision of operation and improved work environment. Safety is another thing. Reduction of dead gene, that's what I was talking about. Every now and then you and me need some break. That's not needed for the machine. Reduction of loss of crop and food products. There's a lot of reduction in the loss of crop. Increased productivity of land, you can just increase because you have a control on the water, control on the pests, control on the manure, whatever you have, such that will be having a better returns. And improved dignity for the farmer, So now it's like industry can just feel, and it brings in automatically better economy means better prosperity in the rural areas, and better amenities also you start getting it once you have a better money with you. So constraints in the farm mechanization. This I think some points already addressed. One is the small land holdings. There is one deterrent. Other one is because of small holding, they have a small money to invest, and we have to build the gap there. How we can be able to build that gap, and adequate availability of animals. So we have to have some other purpose for those things. Lack of suitable farm machinery for different operations. This is another thing. It's not a problem. Now it's an opportunity for you and everybody to think of what kind of machines. That's the customization is needed, and also adapt certain machines properly. Only 2 more minutes, I think. We have come to the end now. A lack of repair and service facilities nearby for those machines. Maybe you may have to go long distance and have to get the mechanic, etc. So those things can be addressed. There's an opportunity for somebody. That's it, training the manpower. Lack of coordination between research, generation, and manufacturing. That's what we had to bridge the gap between university and the villages. Okay, such that we can transform the technology to the villages, such that we can bring in better living conditions in the villages. And high cost, this has to be reduced, and we can do that. We can do that. There's one shortcoming. There's a constraint. It's not a shortcoming rather. So inadequate quality control of machines kind of thing. Okay, it's in the manufacturing side. We'll also able to address it. Okay, everything is possible. So this is the one between the farmland and food, where all these things coming in. And in the next class, we'll talk about only mechanical power, how it is used in the field. So enjoy your breakfast now. Thank you so much. Good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
सर आप हिंदी नहीं
Thank
बोलते
you,
हैं
sir.
So see
सर
the
आप हिंदी
field,
नहीं
how
बोलते
it-
हैं
Sorry?
क्या हो गया बेटा?
No, आपका साथ हम कोई आपको डिफिकल्ट हो तो आ जाए भाई साहब, हमने आपको पूरा दे सकते हैं, मेटेरियल भी देते हैं आपको समझ। आई थिंक आई कैन मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड। ओके, सो
ओके सर
डोंट वरी अबाउट द लैंग्वेज माय डियर।
ओके
आप